Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here and welcome to another board game related review. And now to conclude the three video thing about Aliens Another Glorious Day in the Core, I'm gonna take a look at two other expansions, one of which is optional admittedly, but the other well, all of them are optional, but one of them, Ultimate Badass, is another thing that further expands what can be done in the base game Aliens Another Glorious Day in the Core, whereas Assets and Hazards, that's the optional one. It just means that you've got some actual models that would otherwise be represented by a simple cardboard tile if you didn't have it. And if you've seen either or both of my previous videos related to that particular Aliens board game, you'll know that you'll have seen some of those in those boxes, because I deliberately kept a selection of them in there. I mean, Assets and Hazards just contains actual models for them, things like the containers, sentry guns, one marked A and another marked B, computer terminals, face huggers, and the alien eggs that appear in one of the missions in Get Away From Her, You. Other than that, it's not absolutely essential. It just makes for a slightly more immersive experience. Although I think the price of it was a bit too high, you know, even allowing for the fact that it required a secondary license in order to have permission to do it in the first place. So it could have done with being a bit cheaper. But that's my only real complaint about that. The actual models themselves are of the usual high quality, although another thing I will say, which isn't really a fault per se, but when it came to the containers, the thickness of the bits holding them into the sprues was so tight that you really had to press really hard to separate them, and you also have to be extremely careful when you take the face huggers off the sprues. That's one you really got to be careful of, because of the very thin spindly legs. You don't really want to break that if you can help it. And now we're going to concentrate on the last of the actual expansion packs proper. Ultimate Badasses. Like the base game Aliens Another Glorious Day in the Core, and the other main expansion I looked at, which was Get Away From Her, You. It was also done with with Gale Force 9 teaming up with 20th Century Fox, the latter who own the rights to the Alien universe. And also it's an expansion, so at the very least you must have the base game and Aliens Another Glorious Day in the Core, but you can use this in conjunction with Get Away From Her, You. So we'll just take a look inside. So there's a rule book, but as with the others, it shows the components. This one also adds 4 additional marine dice, so that, as I said in previous ones, the game is for 1 to 6 players normally. So it means that in addition to the 2 that are in the base game, it means that all 6 players can each have a marine die to themselves. And the only real new thing, apart from 6 new characters, is this optional experience path. I've not actually used that at the time of writing, so I don't know what that's actually like. But the main reason I got this was to potentially increase the roster, so that it was even more likely if multiple characters got captured or killed, there were more characters to choose from to have a fire team of that reached the full 6. And here are the here are the character cards for the 6 new characters in Ultimate Badasses. Private Trevor Wisbowski. As usual, there's the player side and grunt side. Private Tim Crow. Carter Burke. Private Mark Drake. Sergeant Al Apone. And Corporal Cynthia Dietrich. Here are the 4 marine dice that are included in Ultimate Badasses, as I just mentioned. And here's the pack containing those experience cards I mentioned just a few moments ago, of the optional thing. That's just an assembly guide from when I had to detach the characters from their sprues and assemble them. The Get Away From Her and the base game also contain those to help assemble what was in those. So here's Drake holding his big smart gun aloft. Here's Wisbowski. So hurry up and focus. This is Dietrich. Looks like she's holding a flamethrower there. Yep, you can see the name Dietrich on the base there. There's Apone holding a pulse rifle in one hand and pointing with the other. Here's Crow. Again, looks like he's holding a pulse rifle in this, but that doesn't mean you have to use a pulse rifle in the game. You can use whichever weapons you like when you come to arm the character for use in a game. It doesn't have to be the one that their model's carrying. Although in some cases there can be benefits depending on which weapon you pick. And here's Carter Burke. He was actually the simplest one. I think he was probably the only one that didn't have to, literally only had to be glued into the base on assembly. He didn't have to have other body parts and or weapon bits added to him to complete him the way the other characters pretty much did. I think Bishop was the only other one that really had that both in his intact and broken form in Get Away From Her. And that's pretty much it. So because there are no actual board pieces in that, the way that there are in what I did an overview of in the previous 2 videos, there wasn't the need for such a big box. But having that increased roster certainly makes things a lot simpler should you need to beef up your team when after having lost some, either through being captured or killed in a previous mission. And it can also come in particularly handy if you were doing one of the if you're doing a bug hunt, particularly with the Get Away From Her expansion, because anyone who caught my video that will know that it's possible to play the bug hunt missions with 8 characters. And if you've got a bigger roster to choose from, thanks to Ultimate Badasses, it makes it a lot easier to, because you've got a bigger selection to pick from. Again, Ultimate Badass is, I think it's a little bit expensive for what it is, but at least if you've got it, it does increase your roster and gives you those experience cards to make it a bit different. Should you want to add another element to the existing gameplay. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to catch you on another one soon. Taxi88 out.